Get ready for it. Get ready for it. Do 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 do. Hello, 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 and welcome. We will be starting HumpDay Exchange, where we exchange your questions for their answers. And we are being joined by a
Give me
guest.
1 second. I'm trying to set up my little camera here.
You're
So
fine.
give me
Take your
like one
time.
second.
Take your time. I just invited Michael, just got here. We're still waiting on Elizabeth. So, hey, Michael.
Hello. I'm having some
I
Having a
figured
little
out how to
technical
do
difficulties.
difficulties.
background.
I love it. I love it.
Little advertising for our new
Yeah.
series.
That is one thing that we can do is we can advertise, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Depot should be here pretty soon.
Okay.
Hey, there you are. Look at that shiny, beautiful face.
Hey,
So happy you are
is the
here.
lighting good?
It is
Yeah.
fabulous.
I'm going to try to figure out how to
Perfect.
get y'all, like, how to do the panel thing so everybody's on a square, but it's uh, being a
This
little
is so
difficult.
weird. I know I'm having the technical difficulties too. It's just so weird.
I'm trying to get my bougie microphone to work, and it is not.
I got mine. I got mine right
Elizabeth,
here.
if you're in
Yes.
here and I haven't seen you, request to jump on the live.
Do I sound clear?
You do.
Testing, testing. Okay, perfect.
You sound fabulous.
Okay.
So we
Kind of
will.
nervous. My
Yeah,
first live with Michael, kind of nervous. We're organizing Okies, kind of nervous.
I love it. But
You
we love
are.
you. You know, we've all pretty much been following you since we found you in the beginning. And
Oh yes.
so I'm kind of looking forward to, because we haven't had a chance to really like even catch up with you and your campaign in a minute, you know?
Whew, it's something, I'll tell you that much. I love you guys too, but it's something. It's going right now. I just tried to contact a social media, what is it called? Not social media manager. Why was I about to say that? Campaign manager today, and everyone is seeming to already be booked up for the 2026 cycle. So I'm just kind of working. I'm just
Oh
SOL
my
right
God.
now, but it's okay.
No, what is happening? I don't know what's happening here. Okay,
Uh,
here's this camera.
2026 isn't even here, and it is already an incredibly wild ride for sure.
Oh, that's for sure. No, that's no joking. No joke. It's been something, and I'm hoping that 2026 can get here, and we can either see the change, or we can. I don't know what else to say, because if we don't want the change, if I don't get elected, then obviously the change was never, it was never wanted in the first place. But fingers crossed, because of the fact that we have definitely seen a lot of people get registered to vote, and they've been letting me know, like, hey, I I registered to vote today because of you. And so I've been seeing the momentum for sure, for sure.
I love it. So I am going to introduce Michael and Elizabeth as our host, and then I'm going to hush up and let them take over, like introducing you and going into the interview, if that's okay.
What? You're gonna leave
Oh,
us?
No, I'm just going to be quiet and let y'all host.
So, Michael, is this where we're supposed to like pop up? Okay,
Jump
wait. Are
in
you ready?
there.
Let's do
That's
it.
right. Yes.
Go, Michael. Okay, go. Okay, go, Lisa.
All right.
No, not
So,
yet, Michael.
hold on.
oh,
Hold on.
sorry.
I want to pop in. Hold on.
Oh,
Okay,
yes.
hold on.
Okay. So, welcome to organizing
That's my
Okie's
candidate.
Wednesday night Hump Day Exchange, We have amazing hosts, Elizabeth Debo, Little Dose of Debo, and Michael.
Woo woo!
Woo! And I'm going to turn it over to them and let them introduce the amazing candidate that we have on tonight and let them host the rest of the show. I hope that y'all have your questions ready. Please feel free to go ahead and type them in as we go. You can put them in the comments as well. So, Michael and Elizabeth, take it over. Introduce your candidate.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Welcome so much. I know I'm very dramatic, but so my name is Elizabeth Debo with Organizing Okies, and I get the amazing opportunity to get to interview our amazing candidate, N'Kiyla Jasmine Thomas. Jasmine to her phone. So, Jasmine, so tell me a little bit about you. Like, let our viewers know, like, who you are, and what I think we can kind of go from there. That way, they can kind of get to know you, what you're about, like what your passions are, and so like what drove you to do this. That's very creative. You're courageous, you know, to kind of be like, "Hey, I'm 30, I'm running for Senate." I'm like, "Yeah, she is." Right?
So my name is N'Kiyla Jasmine Thomas, but I go by Jasmine. I tell people that the only people that call me N'Kiyla are bill collectors and people who don't know me. So my friends call me Jasmine. So please, you're my friend, call me Jasmine. I am a active duty military spouse, nurse, and a mom. But I'm ultimately a special needs mom because my son has level 2 autism. And I am from Ardmore, Oklahoma originally, and I'm 30 years old. This race would be very historical because I would be the first person of color and the first woman to ever hold the U.S. Senate seats if and when I'm elected. But we're going to say when I'm elected because we're manifesting over here. Okay. I have my husband's currently deployed right now, so I've been on the campaign trail and also taking care of 2 kids. Along, you know, my sister has been here until she leaves back to go to school. So I've had a little help, but once she leaves tomorrow to go back to school, it's just me. So I'm on the campaign trail and on the single mom train. I decided to run for office because I realized that there wasn't enough representation within our political system. We would, especially in Oklahoma, I would see that there would be, oh, and I'm black. I don't know if I said if I'm black, white, Native American, I'm Chickasaw. So I always sometimes miss that because I think that I overplay that very often. But I decided to run for office because there's not a lot of representation within our political system. And we normally see your everyday yes man or the good old boy or the good old girl, but we never see someone who looks like me, talks like me, or acts like me. And me being all of us, every one of us. And another reason I decided to run was because last year when I was coming back from a business trip after being recognized at my former employer, I sat down in a lounge, and it's called the USO. It's normally for veterans and their spouses when they're traveling. I sat down in the lounge, and it was right before the special competition. And I was talking about how nervous I was about the special competition because I didn't want, you know, the jacket potato to, because I'm trying to, you know, say things to not get us, you know, shadow banned here, but the jacket potato to win. And I said, you know, I've always wanted to run for Congress or, you know, run to be some type of legislator, but I didn't know where to start. And I thought that I had to be a political, you know, science, or I had to have a major in political science, or I had to be an attorney. And when I sat down and I was talking to the guy, he was getting ready to go to Thailand to go visit his son, who was also in the military. He said, ew, we don't want that. We want real people like you that actually help people. Mm-hmm. And he said, I'm giving you a deadline. He said, within the next 10 years, I want to see you in Congress or in Senate He said, I want to see your face and I'm going to remember it. And he said, if I don't see you there, then I know that you did not follow your passion. And I said, well, how do you know that's my passion? And he said, because I can see it in your eyes that you like to lead and you like to take care of people, hence why you're a nurse. So I don't remember what the guy looks like. I don't remember his name, but I hope that I'm making him proud.
Well, you're
Yeah,
making us proud, so.
absolutely. You know what I see in you, Jasmine? I see AOC. That is what I see and hear when I hear you talk. And it's that powerful command.
Really?
Yeah, but it's that commanding
That's a
um,
powerful way to do it.
presence without being overbearing, egotistical, jerk face, right? Like you're like for the people, like you're an Oklahoman for Oklahomans. And that is what we need. We need the real people, but that's what I see. Like when I'm hearing you talk right now, like all I hear is AOC, and we're like, yeah, Oklahoma, and she's going to do this for us. Like I think for me,
Just
I'm
a
so
grassroots
excited.
candidate.
Yes, that leads me into
Just a
my,
normal grassroots candidate who knows what it's like to struggle. I was not born rich. I've never seen, I take that back. I've seen $5,000 in my bank account before all at once, but that was because taxes came, okay? but, but I've never seen it all at once because I'm a person that still lives paycheck to paycheck. My husband works. I mean, he's in the military, but contrary to popular belief, people in the military don't get paid a lot of money unless you're an officer or unless you have a second income or stream of income. Just like, and that's very rare and seldom that they're able to get a second stream of income. So we don't get paid a lot of money. We don't, and I say we, my husband doesn't get paid a lot of money. I have to still budget. I still have to stretch the next dollar. I still have to worry about where the next meal is going to come from because sometimes I don't know, especially with my two children. I know what it's like to raise a child with a disability, and having to figure out his likes and his dislikes and having to budget his special foods and not have any help that comes along with it or not be able to obtain food stamps. Even though I've been on food stamps before, because my son he was born premature, so he had to have special formula that cost me $50 a can at one point in time, and I could not afford that. So the only way I could get that and also kind of go around WIC, because WIC only gives you a certain amount of cans each month. I had to get food stamps to, kind of supplement that. And I wasn't eating at one point in time because I wanted to make sure that he was eating. So I know what the average Oklahoman is going through. I know that our wages are low. I worked those wages. I became a nurse because I cared for people. I didn't even care about the money at the time, but the money then became important because I couldn't afford anything.
Right?
so yeah, that actually kind of touched on one of my questions. Like, I know you're a strong.
I'm sorry.
No. Yeah, that's good. I mean, that's already good. Like, so what was some of the struggles being a grassroots candidate, not taking big donations and from all that? So, what's some of like your biggest hurdles that you've had to overcome? I guess doing that, being a grassroots candidate.
It's raising the money. It's also fitting in with the people that are accepting the corporate PACs and the people who aren't solely on this journey like I am. I think I'm the only person right now, and I may be wrong, but I think, and no, I'm lying, but I can't speak for everyone else. I think that I'm one of the only people that's on this solely grassroots movement right now. So but there's no one that I can actually sit down with and actually have this conversation with because there's a lot of people who's also established. Your established politicians that are running, they have the backings, they have the phone numbers, they have the people that support them. And that's one thing that grassroots candidates don't have. We don't have the phone numbers. We don't have the connections. We just kind of have to put ourselves out there and just hope for the best and just wish that maybe one of them will just, link us up with their donors. But that's one of the biggest issues with being grassroots right now is the money portion. Money is so prevalent in campaigns or in politics, that is actually quite sick.
Definitely.
So definitely, and I think this is something that we brought up the other day about, yeah, we need money to get around the state and do all the things, but we need people to get to the polls. And so that was one of the questions that I asked, like, what can we do with that, right? And so, we have all of these Oklahomans, especially in rural communities, that aren't able to have the luxuries that we have. And so, kind of finding out how can we get those people out? Because I really full-heartedly believe if we can get people to the polls, we can actually get candidates like Jasmine elected, right? And so we just get used to that straight party voting, and this is what we're doing. But yeah, and so this is why we're doing what we're doing, is because we want to support and we want to endorse Jasmine. Like we want, but we also need Oklahomans. Oh, somebody said something about Sally's list. That's pretty cool. So I didn't think about that. But, yes, but we need Oklahomans out there rallying for Jasmine and our other candidates as well, right? Because we want change. We deserve change. We deserve Jasmine Thomas in our corner defending us. We deserve to have a candidate or representative that's not going to hop over a freaking table and fight the union dude. Like, what is that? That's embarrassing. So we need people like Jasmine. We need Jasmine. This is it. But yeah, so we need.
You might be a little biased, huh? No, you guys might be a little biased, but I'm just joking. I'm joking.
But we're biased because we have taken the time and the opportunities to get to know you,
100%.
which is why we are biased, right? So if we can get everybody else to know you half as much as we know and love you, then you're a shoo-in, right? So
I'm a hard person to please, and I've been following you for it's been 2 months, 3 months, I don't know, but you've had me captivated.
No, it's been way longer than that.
It's
been way longer than that. We're literally in August, and your first video about me was like in April, so that was like in the beginning.
Well, now hold on, because you were at our women's event.
Yes, we win.
Which was, I think, March, right? Oh, no, it was supposed to be in March, but it was moved till April. Yeah. That's right. Oh, my gosh. And that was such a day. Everybody got so flooded out. We had so many people call us the last minute, even volunteers who couldn't get out of their streets because there was so much rain. And yet we still got a few people there, and we honored women and, got to hear about you as a candidate. I'm not normally one who the op stuff or whatever, or talking smack about the other candidates and stuff in this race. But we've lived under the tyranny of Mark Wayne Mullins here in Oklahoma, and his total disdain for our even being alive. There is.
You got to drink real quick.
He has made no qualms. He does not care if everyday Oklahomans are alive or dead. Let's just be honest. Everything that he has voted on has just solidified that. And his latest political stuff is even again. And so to have a candidate that is independent of the status quo, right? Because that's where it's at for me. Is I don't care what color anybody is, or even if they choose a color. I am colorless myself, but to not be beholden to what has been the good old boy network here for far too long. And so finally having a candidate who is authentic, being in your energy. I'm indigenous. I mean, we've talked about that. I'm Choctaw. But I have studied and became an ordained medicine woman through the Hamas tribe in Louisiana. And so when I am in somebody's energy, I can typically read it unless they're just closed. And there's several people that just have very closed, tight knit energy, but you don't have that. You know, you come with such warmth and authenticity, but also with this strong, bullheaded Oklahoma woman, you know, let's get it done. Let's stop
Mm-hmm.
pussyfooting around, excuse my language, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because we've been polite for too long. Politeness is freaking killing us
Yep.
today.
Yes.
And so here you are as this, in my opinion, again, authentic, not beholden to status quo, all of the things that make it so beautiful as a candidate, but also so difficult because you don't get the financial backing. You know, you don't get the people rushing in from across the state as Democrats and saying, hey, let me, you know, have this event. Let's do this. Let's do that, you know, and getting your name out there or offering you lists. Sally's list is great for training, but I don't think they have actual lists that they give you. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's training, not actual like lists, donor lists or voter lists that you can call. Is that correct?
So no act, and it's so funny because I just got off the phone with them this morning. I mean, I've been having kind of like their backing. They can't endorse until the primaries, but I do check-ins with them because they do know that I'm a first-time candidate, and they do know that I'm kind of lost along the way. So I've been so grateful for the women that run Sally's List because they have been the catalyst to my success, if that makes sense, even though I'm not as successful right now. And I won't even say that because I've made so much momentum so far that it surprises me out of the few months that I've actually been a candidate. But Sally's List really is just like they give you lists to call for, you know, like campaign managers, for financial people. They do the trainings, but there's no finances that come in with that. But they are so willing to help find those things for you that it's kind of like, I don't know how to say this. It's kind of like they do kind of help in that aspect, but they don't. I don't know how to say that. Like, I mean, they're willing to help find the resources. They just give you, there we go. They just give you the resources, help you find those resources without treading on other candidates, if that makes sense.
Right.
But they are a good resource to have. And I am very blessed that I will potentially have I'll potentially have their endorsement when the primaries come around, if there is even a primary. But to me, and this is just me, I may be big headed or I may need to be more humble. But at this point, with me growing as fast as I am with people even across the nation, but within Oklahoma, I feel like anyone that tries to run against me at this point is going to be they're going to be embarrassed.
Yeah,
Genuinely,
they
they're going to be
are.
super embarrassed because I've already just been out there and people are already looking to me and they've already got acclimated to me because I was the first person to put the kickstand down on the bike and put the bike away and say, hey, I'm standing up to the bully. That's me standing up to the bully. He's a bully. And I'm not here to talk mad, crazy crap about him because when I talk about him, I'm just shedding a spotlight on him to give him more clout when I need that attention.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that he is a bully and he's not for Oklahoma because anybody that's for Oklahoma is not going to make a campaign ad that says Mullen for America. It should have been Mullen for Oklahoma. It should have been Mullen for OK or U.S. Senate, just anything, but it's for America. So it just showed me through and through who he's really representing. There wasn't anything about him holding hands with Oklahomans. He wasn't out shaking hands with people. He wasn't kissing babies. In his video, he showed his family and then he showed Trump the vast majority of the time. Or Rump, sorry. he showed rump the vast majority of the time in his campaign ad. So I don't know how anyone could stand up and say, I'm voting for him because he's for us, because no, he's for himself, barely his family, because they showed a snippet of his family. And I was like, God dang, like, they're not even that important, but you showed a long snippet of your boy. It's crazy. He does not care about Oklahomans.
No, and right now, so something I kind of want to touch on, because this is not only do I deal with this on a daily basis, but now it's like to the forefront. So when we talk about homelessness and affordable housing, I come from a profession, so we've had programs where we do housing first, right? The Housing First initiative has been going strong now for a couple of years. We like to do what we call harm reduction, where, so if you're having a mental health and or substance abuse crisis, instead of being like, oh, here's some resources, now we're going to bring you in and we're going to do harm reduction. What can I do to make you successful? How can I keep you sober today? What can I do to help you stay sober today? Whatever. So kind of with all that, like our homeless population is skyrocketing in Oklahoma, and it's going to, right? Like this is just the beginning. We already have a huge homeless issue. So what is your stance on that? And what are some things that you feel like you could do once we get you into, not if, it's when, get you into that seat? What are some things that you feel like you would be able to do for Oklahomans to almost be vaccinated, right? Like they're taking away our mental health,
Yeah.
they're taking away our housing, they're taking away. So, for example, so we are watching all of this stuff go down in DC, right? And we just know it's going to trickle down here eventually. However, they were like, hey, we're going to get all the homeless out. We're going to put you in shelters and housing. But they're not, because they have already yanked all the funding for that. So we don't have housing. We don't have shelters. We don't have those resources. So what are some things that you, Jasmine, are going to be able to do, not only, or feel like you would be able to kind of tackle that while you're there? And then you have us here in Oklahoma, so it's kind of like, hey, we're going to have you there. What are some things that you can do there for us? And then what are things that we can kind of do for you to also help with that? If that makes sense.
So, yes. So basically combating the mental health crisis that's going on along with the homelessness. And what do I plan on implementing in order to combat those two kind of things that go hand in hand, right?
Yeah.
Just making sure I had to, read back.
No, I appreciate that. I appreciate that, because it doesn't always go hand in hand. It a lot of times it does, because we'll have a psychosis by drugs. Yes.
Well, and as a nurse, I've been working in mental health. At one point, I didn't fully go into the specialty, but I did have my clinicals around there, so I've gotten to see at least about a month's worth of it. And a month's worth is a lot. I'm not going to lie to you, especially working in the mental health field, because you see all of the disparities that comes in with it. And a lot of the people that were coming in to the mental health facilities were homeless people. They, the drug epidemic, that's part of the mental health epidemic as well. And that's what our homeless are normally, how can I say this? They are plagued with is substance abuse and the homelessness, and they kind of come in together, which then it comes in the mental health the mental health problems because of that substance abuse, disorder. So what I plan on doing, because I don't plan on federalizing Oklahoma City, federalizing them with the military or the police, because I do feel like it's a problem, and I know it's a problem. So what I want to do is I want to obtain the funding to get these homeless shelters back on the streets. And I hate to say it that way, but back within the community. I want to get more than one or two that are, that can actually take a capacity of people, because we cannot just take people and move them and be like, oh, the problem is over. No, like they're still there. These people still are lacking the resources that they need in order to survive. These are people, these are humans. I'm wanting to be able to find housing or build onto housing, find these apartments or buildings that are being not used right now because, we're working remotely these days because technology is technology, and start remodeling those and putting them there and giving them their health care that they need. Because how else are they supposed to go? Like when I hear all these people talk about how we need to get, especially Ron, when he was saying yesterday, he was like, we need to get these people into rehab or take them to jail. Jail is not it's not the answer. It never will be. Now he's just using the for-profit prisons to profit. Okay, that's all he's doing. But on top of that, we cannot get them the rehabilitation that they need if they don't have insurance. I am a huge advocate for universal health care. That's one thing that I want to do. I want to make sure that everyone has health care. They pay for it. They work. People work. We all need health care. We cannot put people in rehab without any kind of money.
Yep.
As simple as that. So we need to be able to actually rehabilitate them, put them in housing so they can get clean. They cannot go get jobs or whatever people are saying that they need to do if they're not clean. If I was a manager, and this is not me being bigoted, I promise, if I was a manager and someone came in and they just looked so sloppy, so dirty, and I can obviously tell that they had nowhere to go, they had no showers, they had nowhere to wash their clothes, but thank goodness for a nonprofit that's in Oklahoma City and Tulsa that actually does come around us. I forget what it's called right now, but I am so grateful. I'm going to be, Be Heard movement. Be Heard movement. I'm actually going to volunteer with them. But they actually go around and wash homeless people's clothes and let them shower. They have these mobile showers and mobile washer and dryers. And that's an incredible
right now too.
Resource to have. Yes. So if we're going to rehabilitate someone, we need to build them up. We can't knock them back down further than what they are. They're already on the ground. Where do we want them to go? To hell at this point?
Right.
Genuinely. So that's just one of the plans. Everything is not going to be perfect and nothing is going to be well-rounded right now because we do have a lot of things that we have to tackle, and there's other ideas that people are going to have that I may not have the best idea, but there's someone that's going to have that. They're going to have that bright idea that I can utilize to take to produce legislation to combat this epidemic.
But that's what I love to hear, Jasmine, because you're like, I don't have all the answers, so I'm going to get my team, right? Because I've got other elected officials, I've got other people up there. So it's not like I'm going to get in and do all that. You're like, yeah, I'm going to try to do what I can, and what I don't know or can't do, I'm going to bring people in. I don't hear that very often. So thank you for saying that, because I'm like, okay, I like that. You know what I mean? I mean, that's...
Well, I can't walk around pretending like I know everything. I can't do that. Like, I've always been an honest person. I've always been a straightforward, upfront person. So I am a person that really admits when I'm wrong, or I admit when I just don't know. And that's just the character that's just my character. That's just my character. I don't know how to be deceitful. I can try to, but you're going to be able to call my bluff quick. I just never knew how to do it.
We have gotten several comments about mic noise, and Jasmine, I think it is your mic. It's crackling for some reason. Not all the time, about half the time though.
Can you hear me now?
It is your mic.
Yeah.
It's like going in and out.
It's my
mic. Yeah.
Is it okay now?
No. It's still doing the same thing. Yeah.
It may be the AirPod. I don't know why. It's still doing the same thing?
Yeah, it's crackly.
Okay. that's so weird. Okay.
I know, because you were on a roll and I hated to interrupt, but there was so many comments about the mic. So I was like, darn it.
Yeah.
We also
Let me actually turn. Let me give me like an intermission for a second. I'm gonna
Okay.
turn my screen around and I'm gonna take out the AirPod and we'll see if it works. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Sounds
Give
great.
me a
Yeah.
brief
Well, yeah, it's
intermission.
7:30. So yeah, intermission. Y'all go grab your drinks,
Oh
run
yeah.
to the restroom,
Get my own drinks.
get your questions ready because at about 7:45 we'll open it up and you can ask questions as well. So
we got a question from Ryan. We don't want to make sure we don't miss. So I'll ask her when
I
she's back.
saw that. I was trying to pin it and it would not give me the option to pin that comment. So if
I was
you
about
can
to,
pin it, that would be amazing.
I was trying to pin it, and I was like, oh wait, I'm not the. I was like, let me see.
Hold on, let me see. Um, yeah, it says you can pin comments and manage guests.
Oh yeah, you can pin comments up there. They stay up for a little bit.
Only on break, it won't let half of us tap the screen or press like. Oh, I did see you send that over.
You can tap on the square that says organizing Okies, and it will it will do it. But you have to tap on the organizing Okie square.
Oh, I did not know that.
No, Michael. Oh, there she is.
Can you hear me now?
Oh,
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's much better.
Is it much better?
Yeah.
Okay. It was definitely the AirPod for sure.
All right.
I'm
Can
using my
somebody
husband's old AirPod because my sister washed mine. So
can somebody find John Adams' comment or question that he asked? Or John, would you please write your question again and we will make sure we ask
He
it.
is wanting.
Is
So the Lincoln Fair is on the 23rd of, here it is, Lincoln County Fair on the 23rd of August. So they're going to have, who did you say, John? You're going to have Cindy Munson and who's the other one? Cindy, Gina Nelson. So it's a Saturday.
So the beautiful thing about them too is that they absolutely have the childcare right now, or they have older kids. So there's some things that I have to kind of sit out because I do have a child with a special need, and that's not to say that I would have to do that once I'm in Senate. That just states that my husband is deployed right now. The only person who can handle these, my daughter's fine, but my son, on the other hand, he's a little hard to handle. So I have to know things way in advance so I can also get my mom involved. I can get my grandma, things like that, because I do have a high maintenance child. I don't want to call him,
Well, no, he is. I mean, they have special needs, and they just need more attention in some areas than others. So
yes. And he's one of the reasons why I wanted to go into be a legislator as well, is because there's not a lot of resources for him out there, especially in Oklahoma. When we were getting ready to station back to Oklahoma, the Army ultimately decided for us that they wouldn't let us, be in Oklahoma because of the school systems and also the lack of resources for children with disabilities. And that's when I ultimately said, okay, well, if the Army is saving us, then who's saving the general population? There's no one saving those parents. There's not enough resources for our kids with disabilities. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for your service, John. I really very amicable. Thank you.
So
for
he
your
was
service. Yeah,
asking
we do
about
have
the
the
Lincoln County
yes,
Fair.
the EFMP. Yes, the EFMP program is the one that stopped the relocation. So they said that we could not come to Oklahoma because Oklahoma was pretty much a cesspool. That's how they said it. And someone's going to get a snippet of this live of me saying that Oklahoma is that, but I didn't say it. The Army did. 100% the Army did. I didn't say it. I just repeated what they said.
So that might be something too that, we can look at, Jasmine, with, hey, if you're going to go down, like one of us could go somewhere, that way you can go to those things because it takes a village. That way you can go to those things and still participate and still be a mom, right? Because that's what we do, right? And so,
And being a mom is so important to me. It's not my whole identity. I'm gonna tell you that now. It's not my whole identity.
right.
But it's so important to me that I just won't leave my kids with just anyone. And I think that a lot of parents are like that, some not. But I really have to manage my village before I can actually I need to utilize my village before I, start stepping out. And I think that's another part of the what makes my candidacy harder is because I am running with smaller kids while I do have an active duty husband that's gone the vast majority of the time. And I get the question all the time about if I can't juggle my kids and my husband being gone, how can I juggle being in the Senate? And one person said it best for me before I could even answer. And they said, she will utilize a nanny. She will have a nanny. She will 100% have a nanny that's going to help her. And she said, outside of a nanny, she said she's going to have her family. And that's true. That's 100% true. When I have something that is already on the agenda and it's already set in stone what I'm going to be doing, which I understand there's a lot of things such as, special sessions or overnight sessions, but that's going to be taken care of. No one ever has to worry about how my kids are going to be taken care of and how I'm going to actually represent the state while having two kids on my hip. I can do it all. I'm a military spouse at the end of the day. I juggle it all.
Well, I'm thinking if our White House secretary can bring her kid to the White House before she goes out, like, why wouldn't you take your kid with you? It's our house, right? That's our place. So your kid, the children are more than welcome to be up there with the nanny in your office.
Absolutely. I'm just super excited to this is just something that I've just dreamed about, thought about, and just really just hoped that I would get the opportunity to do is to actually represent the people and actually put us first, because no one's put us first in a long time. We are struggling with education. We are struggling with rural hospitals shutting down. We are struggling with jobs. There's not a lot of good jobs out there. There's so many ideas that I have that we can actually start bringing in jobs, and not even just corporations, but we can even start doing things like, for instance, Kentucky has community health workers. They are pretty much just a assistant to a licensed caseworker. They basically do all the things. They do all the resources within the community. They go out and they visit people in the community and make sure that they have the resources that they need. These are the things that we need, and it's a certification. So then that brings in education. And that furthers the adults. Yes, the children are in need and our kids are our future, but also our adults are our future. Mm-hmm. We need adults they don't even have to have degrees, but we need adults that actually have some type of training, so then they can live and thrive in so many aspects.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have a question for you.
Okay.
It's more for my own, I guess. As a many LGBT people, we're scared right now in Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. We're scared we're going to lose our rights. I had this conversation with my husband last night. Do we leave? Do we stay here? Do you have like a plan to make us feel more safe, more comfortable here, and all that good stuff? So.
Oh, one thing I'm gonna make sure is, because I'm a daughter of an LGBTQIA 2SL. Sorry, I always miss that 2S. Sorry, 2S people. But but my mother she's been a lesbian for as long as I could remember, and I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand what it's like to have to navigate the world and them make you feel different or insubordinate because of who you love. So it's so imperative to me to make sure that we uphold those rights and make sure that you guys don't lose that, because at the end of the day, you're still taxpayers. You're still humans. Like, everything that they're trying to take away from you and everything that they've been screaming about, is everything that they are basically going against, if that makes sense. But I want to make sure that how I go about this is that I go and I fight on behalf of you guys. I make sure that you guys maintain your the right to who you love. I sometimes I'm really bad with words because I just talk to everyone not in a very professional way because it's more endearing when you talk to people like you're just having a conversation with them, right? So there's sometimes that I lose the words, but at the end of the day, I don't believe that attacking the the 2S LGBTQIA community is going to solve anything. If anything, it's going to cause a RIOT.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And and I had this conversation with someone under my comments yesterday on Facebook. They said, like, we need to be protecting our trans community. Like, I don't worry about the marriage part. I worry about, like, them staying alive, them, thriving, being able to survive in this world. But I said, it starts with marriage. That's the equality. We cannot give the trans community the freedoms and the acceptance that they deserve if we're taking away the gay communities, the 2SL LGBTQIA communities' right to love. It starts with that. So once they start taking that away, you're not going to get the decency in the trans community. That was just a stepping stone. The equality, the freedom to love who you want to love was a stepping stone for people to be able to freely be trans and to express themselves. So that's why it was so important yesterday to speak on gay marriage, because that was a stepping stone into acceptance.
Yeah, my thing is too, like, I'm like, because everything, we've been saying for years, like, we told you this was going to happen, it was just going to happen. It wasn't about it wasn't about Roe v. Wade, it was about control.
It was.
I'm like, and we've been saying, I'm like, they're going to come after gay marriage, but they'll come after interracial marriage after that. And
yeah, 100%.
Don't think that's going to happen.
Yes, and that was a question that I had, someone had given me earlier. Do you think that they're going to come after loving? Oh, 100%. 100%. If you don't, and they're going to even start the one drop rule again. And I'm not even trying to be crazy conspiracy.
No.
That's not me. I live in the real world. I touch grass. I know what's going on. If they're taking away one right, what makes you think they're not going to take away another one? Just like the other day, someone had said we were over exaggerating with, him trying to federalize DC. And then we revisited that comment, and that comment, they were like, okay, I was wrong. Because they said that we were overreacting. We're not overreacting. We're actually just rereading the playbook. That's it. It was laid out for us in 2025. I don't want to say the other word just in case if it gets us, But in 2025, it was laid out for us. They left no room for imagination when it came to that little booklet. They said what they said, and they meant it.
Yep, every word.
So it's only a matter of time if we do not fight back with this. And that's why I got into the fight. I got into the fight to show that there's people that cares about America, because we were pretty, and I hate to say indoctrinated, but we were indoctrinated to love America growing up. Like, that was like our first thing. We knew the Pledge of Allegiance before we even knew how to talk. I feel like before we even knew how to punctuate a sentence, we knew how to say the Pledge of Allegiance. So with that being said, I love my country, and my husband fights for this country. So I want my country to be livable for everyone, not just one person.
So Candace,
not just one race.
Yeah, right. So how do you feel about them revoking the contracts from the veteran nurses and doctors?
Oh, it blows me up, because now this is providers losing their jobs, but at the end of the day, these veterans are people who have fought for our country. They literally have put their lives on the line. There's people who don't have arms and legs and eyes because they were bombed in Iraq. Mm-hmm. These are the people that we need to be taking care of, because they went over there to fight a senseless war at one point in time for us, well, on TERRO, they went over there and they did that. They did a selfless act, and there's no reason why we should be taking health care from them. And taking health care would be taking the providers and the nurses because
Yep.
that's who they normally see, right? You don't just go to the VA and go to the building. You go see the providers.
I tried to explain it to my dad. I was like, you realize if they cut Medicaid, I'm out of a job.
Exactly.
Literally, I work for a CCBHC, I'm out of a job. He goes, well, do you think I'm going to lose my benefits? I'm like, we're not talking about your benefits. We're talking about your daughter's going to lose her job because you want to be judgmental and hateful and bigoted. So,
But also, that's an attack. I just to kind of go back with the revoking the contracts from the veterans and nurses. That also takes away the union. That's an attack on the union. These they are ultimately union persons. I don't know how to say labor union. I'm not sure. Like I just say persons, and so that then starts trickling down into other labor unions. It starts with one and ends with all.
We had another question from Ryan. I'm trying to find it. He wanted to know your thoughts on public housing that is mixed income level.
okay, say that again, Michael.
Any opinions on public housing that is mixed level income?
Mixed level income?
Yeah.
What is that?
So
What does that
there's
mean?
one of two things on that because I can briefly touch on. I can't really touch on the government housing part because I didn't know that, like Section 8 was accepting people who make over a certain amount. And that's normally where you'll see the government housing, right? Like and that's for the lower income. But I think what he's talking about, and he can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's when, like apartments downtown, they're like super high end, but they have to like set aside a certain amount of like apartments for them to be like compliant with the government and receive these federal aids within either the state or the country. And so they have to set aside like income based housing, like income based apartments, regardless of like their income, right? Or how much they make, and it's not going to be as much. It just goes off of their income. I said regardless of their income, but it goes off of their income instead of them paying $3,000 a month. I actually think that that's still pretty decent because of the fact that I think that's decent because of the fact that everyone deserves a shot at living luxurious. I don't think that that should just be for the people who have worked hard and done XYZ their whole life. I think that if someone wants to live in a high-end apartment for, a little bit and they work hard every day, I think that they should ultimately be able to do that. I don't know how else to say that because I didn't know that that was a problem, I didn't know people actually had a problem with that, but go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I work with this every day. It's a mess.
And I just moved out of public housing in April of this year, or March, I'm sorry, March of this year to be a care provider.
So Oklahoma will. I didn't mean it like that. The thing is that, like I said, I'm talking to you guys as my friends, and I get it that that it's not appropriate, but that's what it's called. That's what the rich and the elite call it. They call it the government housing.
Yeah. No, oh yeah, no, absolutely they do. Absolutely they do. And it is
It also depends
accessible.
on where they get their funding from. I mean, there's a lot of federal funding, but there's, OHFA, which is the federal, and then we have Oklahoma City Housing Authority. Each city or each county has their own housing authority. In the state of Oklahoma, and then we have the HUD, right? So we have the OHFA, and so it really depends on like the voucher. We went through a couple of years ago. We had the Housing First Initiative, and they gave out all these emergency vouchers, and like it was a mess because they had all these vouchers. We're trying to get people housed, but there was nowhere to put them. There were no housing units, whether it was apartment or housing, where they could use this voucher, and it was insane. It was absolutely insane.
Well, I can tell you when I went through orientation, because I was approved for Section 8, they straight up told us that they had zero apartments that were accepting the vouchers, and they told us that we should go talk to every apartment manager in the areas we wanted to live and ask them to accept them. So basically, even though they had a whole bunch of money specifically for marketing purposes, they wanted their clients to have to do their marketing for them. Just awful,
But
awful,
it's
awful.
true because
Yeah.
when my oldest son was a baby, we were looking for a new house, and at the time I was a single mom, so we were looking for anywhere that was near Midtown because that's where I was working. I was working at the hospital down there, and I needed something close. And when I had went to a apartment complex that was downtown Bricktown, and I said, "Hey, how much is it this month?" And they were like, "Well, it's this much money a month." And I was like, "I can't afford that." They were like, "Well, you can get on the wait list to get on our subsidized housing." And that's when I found out that they allowed subsidized housing, but it's a wait list for them to do it. So a lot of the people that actually live in these apartment complexes, they can't afford them, so they turn into HUD houses. I'm not going to lie to you, they are. So when you see all these high-end luxury apartments, especially ones that are like kind of like um, the clubs that are downtown. I can't remember which ones are down there, but there's like a apartment complex that's down there. Most of them are people who would not be able to afford it if it weren't for them subsidizing the houses because it's high. It's high.
We're getting some good questions in here. So I see, what's your views on stock trading and term limits?
Stock trading and term limits.
Yes.
Oh, stock trading is a no. People should not be making money. Like there's nothing else to say about that one. It's stupid and it's greedy. I guess there was something else to say about it, but the what was the other one? It was stock trade and
Term limits on.
term limits. 100%. I feel like we should be able to bring in new generations without people gatekeeping it, our older generation. So 100% term limits. I think we should do freshman, sophomore, and senior years. And that will ultimately give us what? Because if you have 6 term limits in a Senate, and maybe the Senate should be a little bit less because they do have 6 years, but for our Congress people, that's 2 years. I think that maybe we should kind of up there just a little bit because they're doing more campaigning than they are actually taking care of things. And I think that we should deliberately stop that. I think that maybe we should give them a little longer to be able to campaign and do whatever they need because what can you do in 2 years when you're actively just pretty much in there for one and then the second year you're just campaigning all year.
So TJ has a question. I know that we're coming up on the close, but I love this. So she said, "What do you think about the prison system and the high women's rates?"
I think it's terrible.
Yeah, so
I think that our prison system is awful. I think that
incarceration rate for women.
we should get rid of for-profit prison systems, and we should be rehabilitating our women and our men to get back out into the community without us having to keep paying for them to stay in these situations, especially with minuscule type charges.
We actually have women that are in prison right now for having a miscarriage.
We actually have women that's in prison right now for domestic violence as well, like because they killed their perpetrator.
Yep.
And we have a law, but is it a strong safeguard? No. I have a friend right now that was actually in the news yesterday because she ultimately pew-pewed her boyfriend that was beating her, and she's beaten the case. She got 27 years, but she's appealing. So absolutely, I think that we should definitely be taking care of our women and not putting them in prison because they're getting abortions.
Yep. Normalize believing women.
So before we get to how to volunteer and all of the things, how to support your election campaign in a non-monetary way, there was a question about rural areas and rural towns because they never get any attention. And so with housing, But they're also the first to like, oh, let's build data centers and suck up all of their minuscule resources. So, can you just talk a little bit about maybe what you envision for rural Oklahoma?
Yeah, well, for farmers, because that's who's normally in rural, Oklahoma and in rural areas. I want to be able to give them their funding back so they can start, supplying our food again and supplying it to schools. So then, we're not burdening our schools to get outside food or, start giving them fresher foods, which will come from our farmers, our local farmers. Okay. And then, second off, I want to be able to keep our rural towns pretty rural. I don't know how else to say that because everyone's rural town is different to in what they want and what they don't want in it. So that would be a conversation that we would need to have as to what your rural town is wanting or needing.
Well, I just saw clean water would be for
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Like we can all
Yes.
agree they do need clean water, clean air,
Yes.
and food,
And I
which
hate
we've
that we
already
even have
addressed.
to
I
have
left
that
that.
conversation about clean water for humans in
Yeah,
these areas. But we do need a better sanitation system. So you're right.
yeah.
100% you're right.
And then tell people how can they get involved if they want to volunteer, if they want to donate, like what are the things that people need to do?
So you will need to go to www.jasmineforok.com and you will go to the volunteer or donate section. For people who cannot donate, volunteering would be best because you can help do phone calls, you can canvas, you can go out in the community, you can work on something because we have a very small campaign team going on right now. We have a lot of volunteers, but there's only a few of us that works behind the scene because I work my butt off by myself. I am one of probably the only ones that actually do this off my own back. I have, like I said, a right hand person named Jocelyn that literally does an incredible work, but we do this off solely our backs. No campaign manager. So if you want to, please volunteer. Consider donating, being able to make those calls to get those donations. That would help, especially with people who have full-time jobs, to people that are working behind this with full-time jobs and children, families.
Now, okay, that leads me to think of something. Could you or do you already have like a handout that people could maybe print out on their own and hand out at the county fairs?
Yes, so I do have walk cards that can be properly distributed. Right now, we are working with not the economy. I mean that too, but we are working with the climate. So we are ordering as we go. So we're not being wasteful. So we are actually sending some to our volunteers' house. So if they ask us for, 50 to 100, we'll just go ahead and pay for those and just send them directly to their house so they can get on foot instead of us ordering a bulk amount. And then at the end of the campaign that we didn't use or, didn't get passed out, we, ultimately go to waste. So if, you come into the volunteer, you're just like, hey, I want to go canvas, this week, we will send those to you to your house. You will
Jasmine,
get
will
those
you
ordered.
repeat your website again real quick? I'm going to
Yes.
pin it.
It's www.jasmine, JasmineForok.com. I spoke with someone and told her about your campaign. She's scared about what her significant other will think. So when you say that, do you mean as if like her significant other is a R and they vote R, but and she's worried that he may, judge her for wanting to vote for someone like me? My dang.
I mean, you're alone in the voting booth.
You are 100%. There's no one that's
That's
going to
what my
tell you.
mama told my daddy.
And
I'll
for
tell
I
you
know
what
that
you want to
some
hear till I walk in the booth.
yes, and I know that some people I know that they can go online and see what your voter registration is, but if she goes in and she votes blue just one time, it's not going to change her back. It's not going to change her voter registration. So she wouldn't have to worry. No one's going to know unless she tells them. She'll be her worst enemy.
Yep.
She's the only person. And there was another one that was here. Oh, and I know that I was asked this question and I haven't gotten to speak freely on it. So before we go, um, I am pro Palestine. So I am not an APAC person. So I'm not accepting any APAC. I actually think that genocide is wrong.
Yeah, what?
It's all right. You're on
Sorry,
a
I
roll.
said miss.
I think
And
it's
we're towards
wrong.
the end.
And I 100% believe that we should not be funding it, and that the person that's running it right now is 100% a
Yep.
yeah. And I cannot wait until we can stop the madness, and we need to stop funding them, because they are getting better resources than we are.
Yep.
So we need to work on us as a country before we start working and taking care of other people. We need to think about us. We need to get some mental health therapy, and we need to step away from these toxic relationships that we have been in as a country, because I don't want to be in this relationship. I'm married to a great man, and he don't even do me how Israel is doing me right now. So yeah.
Right?
I feel that. Thank
Oh,
you
my
for that.
soul.
Yeah.
In my soul.
So I think that that's just the humanity in me. And so I can do my little closeout for you guys so you guys can talk and or do whatever you need to do. But my name is N'Kiyla Jasmine Thomas. I'm Black, White, Native American. I'm Chickasaw. I am a nurse, active duty military spouse, and an autism mom. I'm 30. I would be the youngest woman or youngest first woman and person of color to ever hold this seat in Oklahoma when elected. And I am super excited. I am looking forward to serving my community. I love my community, and I don't want to see it ever crash to the ground, because one thing about me is that I stand strong. I stand 10 toes down on what I say, and I mean what I say, and I don't ever back out of it.
Yes. Uh,
There's a
yeah.
lot of questions that didn't get answered, because I know that there was some on here, but I know that a lot of us have things to do. I don't, because I don't have a life because my husband's not here. But if you guys do have something to do, if any of you, I mean, we can log out, or we can stop this and then we can take this over to mine, or we can continue here. I don't mind. It's up to you guys. I have a few, my kids are already asleep. We didn't get to answer a lot of questions.
Right.
And I think it's important that we actually hear from the constituents than it is to just kind of answer our own questions. Because they have a lot of great ideas. I can't tell you how many people that I've met and shook hands with over this past summer that literally have given me so many ideas to implement once I get into office. And I'm just like, you guys are brilliant. Like, you guys should be running. And they're just like, no, we just need people like you that listen. And
Right.
I'm going to.
I was just thinking that, Candace.
What'd she
How do
say?
you feel about the data centers in Oklahoma? We've been talking about this amongst ourselves for a minute.
Yeah, they're pollutants. So they're polluting our air. So this runs into climate, and I'm big on climate as well. They're pollutants, and it's also messing with our water systems. But also AI is really just taking over, and it's 100% wrong most of the time. I don't think that AI was actually built to be your brain, and because it's causing brain rot. I think it was more meant to kind of fix errors and do more of grammatical work, but we have turned it into data centers that are polluting the air. um, I think that with that, I think that it's a good resource to have. AI is, but they should make it less detrimental to the environment. I don't know how to say that, because why would you give us something and then destroy our earth? Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
Well, and we
The
were
AI
looking at the
does.
sheer number of acres. Acres, right? One of them was like 9,000 acre campus, 9,000 acres in Oklahoma. Okay. And, and I'm like, okay, I want to know the total. They're saying they want to do 35. We've got 18 that they say
Yes.
is already active. What is the actual rundown of how many square footage or I mean acreage is it but the way they're listed, the buildings are listed in square footage, so they don't all tell you like how many acres they're eating up. So you have to go dig for all of this information, and it's crazy because at a time when they have already actively declared war on the farmers here,
Right.
and then what's going to happen next after they tank the water and the electricity, and
Right.
most of these rural towns that they want to put these in, they don't actually have water sources of their own.
Like they have more wells, water, like groundwater. Yeah, absolutely.
Right,
Mhm.
right. And so
Yeah.
like to suck all of that up, and then once it goes dry, right, they're going to close that center down, so now you have a 9,000 acre campus. What are you going to do with that
It's just
except
going to
tell
go to
people
waste.
they
Waste.
cannot occupy it in any way, you know? and
No.
and the farms are gone.
So I think that that'll be an organizing thing that I would definitely stand up against, and I will say like we don't need this because this obviously has been science. They don't even care about science. They don't care about science. What am I saying? But it's been scientifically proven that this has been harmful to our ozone, to our water, to our soil. This needs to stop. We need to, and then I will organize with you guys. One thing about my candidacy, or not candidacy, but my when I get into Senate is I'm actually going to be outside with you guys. When I'm not in DC, I'm going to be out there with you guys. I'm going to be standing on that, and everything that you guys tell me while I'm out there protesting with you guys, I'm going to go back and I'm just going to be like, you guys are really just so dumb, and you don't really want to help anyone. You want to sit your stupid asses, stupid butts up there. Excuse my language, everyone. I apologize. You want to sit up here and you just want to reap the benefits of our citizens, but you don't want to help. You do not give a rat's ass about these people. And that's what makes me so infuriating, that no one is standing up and saying this. I'm not scared of anybody that can bleed like me. Anyone that can literally lose their life in a car accident at any given moment, I am not scared of you. We have the same stamina, if I don't have more than most of them, because you know who's in these seats. But I have, if not more stamina. I have all the endurance, and I also have all the attitude to back it. Like, you do not scare me. You can scare everyone else. Like, I am not afraid to lose this job. If I lose this job, at least when I get back home, I will be the hero to my state, and you guys will be the jackasses at the end of the day. That's all that these senators and these representatives have to do. They have to look at it as, we represent you guys. You guys pay us. So therefore, we're going to say this. We're going to stand 10 toes on it, and we're going to mean it, period. There's no way around it, because we're going to have their back regardless. They cannot lose a job that we put them into. We have to impeach them. So why are you scared of somebody doing this? He's not hanging you by your toes. He's not handmaid telling you and putting you on a wall.
Yep.
Stop being afraid of somebody who can bleed like you.
Yeah, we got to stand up to these bullies at every turn, every turn. And Oklahoma's starting to. There is events almost every day now all around Oklahoma City and Tulsa, and in our rural communities have just stepped up in big ways. I've been so proud of our rural communities here
Mm-hmm.
lately. Yeah, we're all done with it. So it's yeah, to me, it's like we just need a clean house. The status quo has got to go, right? Like,
Not Governor Cassie. I'm going for U.S. Senate against Markwayne Mullen.
want
Governor
to be.
is Cindy
Now,
Munson.
see, I think this is perfect for him, too, because he so desperately wants to go to work for Linda McMahon as a WWE wrestler. So, with you taking over his spot, then he can go try his hand with the McMahons. I'm just
Oh, hands
saying.
down. And that's what I was saying earlier about how I wouldn't have known that in his ad. I wouldn't have known that he was running for U.S. Senate in Oklahoma if he didn't wear a Stillwell shirt, because it said Markwayne Mullen for America.
Yeah.
So how was I supposed to? Who would have known how to vote for you besides us? Who would have known? Because that's obviously a free ad that can be seen by anyone. So people will go out and look for you, but they don't know where you're at because you're for America and not for the place that you're claiming that you're from.
Right.
Yep.
Please.
Patricia, that would be amazing. Yes, we do need to get her on Media's Touch.
Oh yeah, the Midas touch. Oh, that'd be good.
I've tried contacting them. I've tried contacting a lot of media, even some big content creators, and they just don't entertain people who obviously don't fit a narrative. And I know that Midas Touch, I'm not saying them, but you know, if I was to try to get in contact with like Aaron Parnas, we know that there's certain things about that, and I'm not judging that because that's where I get most of my independent information.
Yeah.
But you know, and Cassie just asked about Aaron Parnas,
That's what
but
we're talking about.
you know, yes, but you have to have the legacy media talk with you or you know give you that spotlight before anyone else is going to give you that spotlight, and legacy media is not playing those games right now. They're treading lightly, or they just don't take the candidacy serious as I do or as anyone else that supports me does. And that's where we have to draw lines with certain things, is that if we cannot give everybody a fair chance, then we shouldn't be giving anyone a chance at this point. No one should be getting this type of, you know, and I hate to say that because it sounds like I'm a toddler throwing a temper tantrum, but it's inequity.
I think we definitely need to hold. So like, I would love to see you on I've Had It, and they do a lot for Oklahoma. They're from Oklahoma, and we just need to hold them accountable if they want to be as progressive as they say they are. I would love to see you on there and get you on there. So.
Well, and we've tried that too. We've been trying since I even announced my candidacy to even get a part of I've Had It, because a lot of people will tag them, they'll message them, but it's like they want to complain about things, but they don't want to actually help change the things that they complain about, if that makes sense. But we know that with that certain demographic too, that they complain about things, but they don't really bust a grape with that. And that's just me being honest.
As long as they don't have a problem for every solution we come up with, you know, I just kind of listen to them and keep going. You can keep talking to me as we walk, you know.
Yeah, it's like your normal Edmund women. You know, they they go to
Ouch.
the, and this is not me talking. Actually, it low key is, because it's like they complain about getting 10 nuggets from Chick-fil-A, right? They got an extra one. God bless them with an extra one. Now they got to complain about it. They're not gonna. They may eat it at the end of the day, but they may just leave it. They may just leave it there because they just wanted 10. You see what I'm saying? Like there's a solution to every problem, and I tell my kids that. That's one thing that I put in my kids' head, is that there's a solution to every problem. So every problem that you think you have, try to think about how you can better this situation, or how you can just not say anything about it anymore. That's all it is. Like people talk about these buzzwords, but they don't ever do anything to actually change the narrative. We got to stop being internet activists and actually be activists. Get out there and actually put our best foot forward and say, listen, we are revolutionizing and we're doing it today. It starts with the white community. It does. And I'm not sugarcoating that either. It does. The 92% of us did our job, but it starts with our white counterparts to help us revolutionize. Throw the tea in. We're tired. The black women, the women of color are tired of fighting these same battles because we fight them every single day. And I don't care what anyone says about me being white presenting, I'm culturally black. So I see it firsthand. My mom, I've seen it. Like I've just, she is definitely marginalized. I can tell you that she is the definition of marginalized. She's black, she's gay, she's neurospicy. She's got all these things going on that I've had to see and I've had to take care of with her. And we're like, we fight battles every day that sometimes the white community just don't have to fight. Get together and revolutionize. Or, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. I keep saying it. Get together, organize, help us get into office, help us get into spaces. Because, contrary to popular belief, Oklahoma has more women than it does men. Oklahoma has 50.1% women.
Woohoo! I'll take it.
Yep.
We do.
And we need all of them, all of us to stand up because these guys have actively came after us and are actively trying to trap our younger generation into some freaking dystopian baby factory like that. Like, no. The answer is no. That has been answered multiple times, and I'm mad as hell that my mother had to have me because pre Roe v. Wade by a year, I had choices. My daughters had them briefly in their life, and their children do not or will not. And that just, I never thought I would see America go to that extreme, or even Oklahoma, although I know we've always kind of lent that Bible Belt thumping crap, right? Um, so to me, again, it goes back to you got to organize. To me, again, it goes back to you got to organize. You got to, elect people that are human freaking beings. If you want to have any representation as a person and what a person that is breathing needs to have in order to continue breathing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then we have to support candidates and elect people in our representative government who give a shit one iota about humans would be nice. And here you are, very real, very passionate, and one of my favorite bully busters.
Sorry, I didn't realize that I was filibustering here. So
Oh no, not filibuster,
I'm already
bully
exemplifying
buster.
excellence. Sorry.
No, bully, Bully, bully buster,
Oh, bully buster. Oh,
bully.
I was like, well, I mean, I could be filibustering right now too because I mean, I just held y'all over.
I bet you could. You'd give them a run for their money.
Well, no, I'm talking about because I held y'all over the 8 o'clock. So
Oh,
I'm actually filibustering with you guys.
I guess so. Yeah, I didn't
You
even
get it?
consider that. That's hilarious. I love it. Right? Well, nobody has gotten a chance to get to know you, to hear you and your words and your policy and your belief systems and all of the things that you stand for because you haven't gotten any airtime. And I think, for us, I mean, we enjoy talking to you. You're a real human being, it's a lot of fun. And so to me anyway, I can't speak for the hosts, but for me, it's like, heck yeah, I could probably talk to you for hours.
She speaks
But
for us too.
Yes.
see,
I love you guys. We
any more
had
questions?
Oh, yeah, there was Cassie. I know that we're about to get off. We'll answer this last one if that's okay with you guys.
Oh,
Yeah.
please, I'm
So
good. We can
I'd be
keep going.
interested to hear your opinions on the current administration's policies and actions. I think they're trash. I think they're garbage. I think that they should really definitely be stopped. And I think that I think that our generation, the millennials who had to clean up everything anyway, has to come in and clean this mess up and actually put our foot down. Have you campaigned in areas that ever felt uncomfortable? 100%. Oh, 100%. Oh my God. When I tell you, I went to, and I'm normally not uncomfortable around, my people, what, the African American community. But I went to a Juneteenth celebration, and I was doing some, passing out my flyers, or not my flyers, my walk cards. And there, I went to go talk to a pastor that had ran for, I think, city council, and tall black man that's still a pastor. And as I was talking to him, there was a guy that came up behind me, and he was talking to me, and he was like, I never did the nasty with this person in front of this preacher. And I was like, what is going on? And the person that was there with, the person that was there with me was like, what is going on? So he keeps going. He's just like, yeah, your friend that I used to be friends with, she came up to me and she had some dude size me up at the club, and the pastor's behind me just looking at me. And I'm just like, all right, this is really uncomfortable. This went on for 10 minutes. The person that I was with was supposed to stop any kind of brash behavior with anyone. But he ultimately decided to just let this go on. So he was just like, yeah, he sized me up. And then she told me that she never effing wanted to hear from me and all this other stuff. And I mean, just cussing in front of this pastor. And one thing about me is I'm real with everyone, but I just get real bashful when people, like, it doesn't even matter if it was a pastor behind me. I just get a little bashful when people start saying like vulgar words in front of people I don't know. Like, I don't know how to explain it. So anyway, I turn around to this pastor, and he's looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and I was like, I have no idea what just happened. And he was like, are you sure you want to run for office? Because he was like, you be at the club. And I was like, I do not be at the club. I be at home with my kids. Like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So he's sitting there telling me, like, do you know how hard it is to run for office? Do you realize that the day after you don't get, do you know what it feels like the day after you don't get elected, what it feels like? You get isolated. I said, sir, I'm isolated every damn day of my life. I said, I sit between four walls and have to call people that I don't want to call. I said, I have to sit with my kids, and sometimes I don't want to do that either. I said, I do uncomfortable things day in, day out. I said, I'm sorry if you don't have to do uncomfortable things day in, day out of your life. But one thing about me is I've had to sit in discomfort to learn how to be comfortable. Okay. But the mere fact that that man just came over to me and he was just like, I did not do, like, it was uncalled, like, it was so uncalled for. And it was one of those things where it was just like, am I being punked right now? And I know a lot of people, that's kind of like cheesy to say, but he legit came up to me with a pastor behind me and said that, and was talking so loud that I feel like the whole little area that we were in could hear the whole conversation. And I just sat there and I was like, I didn't know what to say. But yes, that's one of the most uncomfortable things that I've been in so far. Area wise, I could not show my face in that. I do not want to show my face there until people can be like, oh yeah, like, we don't remember that instance. And maybe they don't. Maybe I'm just over hypercritical of myself. But right now, with that pastor, I'm not showing my face around that man, because now he think I'm some freaky deaky female that just be going off. All right. Like, listen, that was me in the past life, but me right now, I got kids.
Right,
So I'm just joking. I mean, I'm not.
Them
But
days are done, buddy.
but no, like that was very uncomfortable. And there hasn't really been a situation where I went to like a predominantly white town that's made me like sundown town. I actually went to Caddo a couple weeks ago, and I mean, when I tell you, everyone was so welcoming, and I was one of two black people there, but I'm white presenting. So, they're sometimes they don't know what I am. They know I'm something, but they have no idea what it is. But most of the time they'll just be like, all right, she's white, So, but when that black man had walked in with his wife, everyone was just so welcoming. So I don't think that our rural towns are super like racist. I think that they're just uneducated. That's it. That's it. I know that there's racist people out there, but at the end of the day, we got 2 minutes. At the end of the day, I just really feel like they're just uneducated. They don't know. You can't learn from something that you don't know, or you're just stuck in this echo chamber and they don't know what to believe. And I think that that's one of the reasons why we're in situations right now, is because they're being told one thing, but they're being told another. And they can know that something is not factually correct, but because it does not align with what Jesus says, or what's in the Bible, then they kind of have to go with whatever this person is saying, even if it's lies. They know sometimes. Sometimes they don't. But that's why it's our job to get out there and actually show love instead of still attacking them. Like, attack the people who are actually the bigots, but address the people who actually just don't know nor understand. So I'm sorry to keep you guys waiting. Waiting. Keep you guys up. I love you guys. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on. Like, love having you. And just so the people that are watching still, like, this will not be the first time that Jasmine is on with us.
The last time.
Huh?
What? It is the first time, but it won't be the last time.
That's what I said. That's what I said. This won't be the last time that she's on here. But we are doing this every Wednesday, HumpDay Exchange. And so, N'Kiyla Jasmine Thomas, thank you so much for coming on. Yes, we are biased, but we're biased because we have gotten the opportunity. We've taken the time to get to know you and work with you and do all the things. And so we really want the rest of Oklahomans to see what we see as well.
I love y'all too.
Do it.
Good night, and thank you for having me, and thank
Night.
you everyone
Thank you
for
so
coming
much.
on. You guys are awesome, and thank you for all your questions. Bye.
Thank you,
We'll
Jasmine.
see ya. And next Wednesday we have who is next Wednesday? I just went blank. Is it Arturo?
Oh yeah, Arturo. It's Arturo. Yes.
So be sure and join us next week for that.
Yes, next Wednesday at 7 p.m. for your HumpDay Exchange.
Take us out, Michael.
Bye.
Peace.
All right, bye guys.